Hey, hi, hello everyone. So today's class is going to be a very quick and simplified class on the topic ecosystem and its components. This is a very important part of the chapter Our Environment, and from this chapter case-based studies are popular. So you have to watch till the end, complete video, non-skippable video this is, so that you don't have to skip the video. Any part can be missed and will be very problematic for you. So watch the video till the end. And those who are new here, we have a good news for you all. Midagru has launched its own app, so you can download it through the Play Store, and that is obviously free. When you'll download our app, you will get the surprise. You know what, your preparation will be very easy after watching this. So you are going to get our courses, and that also off just ₹99. At just ₹99, you are going to get the complete course of science, complete course of mathematics. So complete course of science means physics, chemistry, biology, everything, and in which you are also going to get video lectures, sample, like you will get the DPP papers, that is the question practicing papers, test papers, and also the LMS, which is our materials made by ourselves. We have made it by our own, and expert teachers have made all these materials. That means just by reading these materials, notes materials, you don't have to study anything. You don't have to even look for the books. So this is going to be very helpful for your books. So what are you waiting for? Just go and download the app now. Yes, have you downloaded? So once you have downloaded, let's start our video. So let's start our quick revision class for ecosystem and its components. Very important part. This is a very important part of the chapter environment. So let's start this. Okay. So first of all, we'll understand what is an ecosystem. So let's understand what is an ecosystem. So ecosystem is nothing but, if we talk about the definition, ecosystem is a self-sufficient part of an environment where interaction between living and non-living organisms takes place, right? So what are we talking about? We are talking about an ecosystem. Ecosystem is a self-sufficient part, because this is a living part of the environment. Whole environment has a part, self-sufficient part, in which what happens? Interaction between living and non-living organisms, living together. That is called ecosystem, right? Let us suppose there is a pond. Okay, there is a pond in which some microorganisms, fishes, right? Fishes are living, right? So these are living together. This is called an ecosystem, right? This is called an ecosystem. So ecosystem can be classified into two parts, right? Ecosystem can be classified into two parts. Let's understand what that parts are. Okay. So let's clean it. Okay. So you understood the definition of ecosystem. Now let's understand ecosystem. Ecosystem can be classified into two parts. Okay, first part is natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem. Okay, this is the first classification. Second classification is artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem. Understood? So ecosystem can be classified into two parts, two like way. First is the natural ecosystem, second is the artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem has no interference of humans. Here no interference of humans are there, means humans are not involved at all. It is made naturally. For example, let's take an example. For example, forest. Do you know which person has made the forest? No, you can't, right? Because we don't know how like earlier this forest has been already made, and without like before our birth, right? We don't know. Nobody knows who has made the like natural ponds, right? Lakes, rivers. These are the natural ecosystem, because here no like human beings interference is there. Nobody has involved it, nobody has made it. Okay, nobody will get the credit for it. Now when we talk about artificial ecosystem, it is made by humans for their own benefits, right? So it is made by the humans for their own benefits. For example, let's take some examples. For example, aquarium. Okay, maybe you must have seen the garden. Okay, any garden, that is the ecosystem made by humans. The whole credit will go to the human, right? Humans have made that, but here no credit, so no interference here. People only have made this just for their like benefits, and here no. Now let's understand, natural ecosystem will again be classified, like natural ecosystem further be classified into two parts, right? Natural ecosystem will further be classified into two parts. First will be called terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem. And then second is aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem, and then comes the aquatic ecosystem. See, terrestrial ecosystem, terrestrial words whenever comes, we know that we are talking about land, right? We are talking about land, such as that means it is also called land made ecosystem. And for example, forests are the land made ecosystem. And then comes the aquatic means we are talking about water based or water made, right? Water based. Here also we'll write based, water based ecosystem, such as river is the aquatic ecosystem. So here this is terrestrial, and the same goes for the artificial one, right? Same goes for the artificial one. And here also obviously terrestrial ecosystem. One comes the terrestrial ecosystem, and other is the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, an example will be, here is this is the example. Let us suppose the example garden. Garden is an ecosystem which is obviously artificial ecosystem but is on land, okay, is on land. And those which are like water based, such as aquarium, or sometimes you must have seen the man-made pond, man-made pond, okay, man-made pond, that is the artificial ecosystem. I hope this is very clear. Ecosystem is the interaction between like living and non-living organisms living together, and this is the very like self-sufficient part of an environment, self-lively part of the environment. Then comes the partition or the classification of ecosystem. Ecosystem can be classified into two parts. First is the artificial ecosystem and the natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem has no interference of a human, that means it is made by like nature, okay, nobody knows who has made it. For example, desert, for example, forest, okay. Then comes the artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem is been made by human beings for their own benefits, such as aquarium, gardens, okay. Now the ecosystems like artificial and natural ecosystems are also further classified, and that is of two like section. First is the terrestrial. Terrestrial means on land, okay, and then comes the aquatic. Aquatics means water based. So this is the examples as well. So see here it properly that whenever these type of like topics comes to your exam, they simply ask the examples, like what is the example of any like aquatic artificial ecosystem, that you need to give the example, name the example. So that will be very like to the point question and to the point answers. This type of question answers will come, especially in this whole chapter. Like environment chapter is important for their case based studies, like obviously MCQs, assertion reason based questions. So be very careful during understanding this chapter, because this chapter will give you the short marks only and only when your concept is completely clear. So be very careful. So understood, this is the two parts. Now we understood two ecosystems. Now we have to understand two things, its components, right? We have to understand its components. Components of ecosystem, okay, components of ecosystem. See, now the components of ecosystem is also two. There are two components of ecosystem, okay, two components of ecosystem. First is biotic components, okay. Biotic components consist the living things, okay, living beings, living organisms, okay, living organisms. Then comes the second part, and the second part is abiotic, okay, abiotic components, okay. Abiotic components, for example, we will take the example, means here which category we will bring in, and that will be non-living organisms, okay, non-living organisms, fine. So this is the two components of ecosystem. First is the biotic ecosystem and abiotic ecosystems. Biotic ecosystem consists living organisms such as animals, okay, microorganisms, right, microorganisms. And abiotic components will keep the physical things, physical parts such as ponds, lakes, okay, forests. These are the abiotic components and the biotic components, okay. Now let's come to the biotic components. Biotic components will also be defined as will be classified as further, it will further be classified in 3 parts. First is biotic components will have producers, okay, producers. Now what is producers? One by one I'll be explaining also here only. Producers are those who can make their food, right? Those who can make their food are called producers. They provide the food, right? They provide the food, and of course the way of their food making is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, they can make their food with the help of the process called photosynthesis, okay? Then comes the second part, okay? Second part is, this is called consumers, okay? Then comes the part consumers. Consumers are those, producers make the food and consumers consumes it. Means they are dependent on producers for their food, okay? They are dependent on the producers for their food, okay? Then third part, okay? So third part, third comes the decomposers, okay? Decomposers are those organisms which breaks down the complex substances into simpler one for their energy requirements. Energy requirements. I hope it is clear, okay? So what is the 3 categories? First category means, which is this? This is biotic, right? Biotic components. Biotic components are is been further classified into producers, then consumers, and then decomposers. Producers are those who can make their own food. For example, plants, right? For example, plants, okay? Plants and green algae, right? These can make their food by themselves, and what they have chlorophyll. They have chlorophyll, right? That is why they can make their own food and they can do photosynthesis. Then comes the consumers, and for example, consumers are humans. We are consumers, and animals, okay? We are dependent upon the producers, okay? We lack chlorophyll. That is why we can't make our food by our own, because we don't have chlorophyll. We can't do photosynthesis, okay? Here the example, microorganisms. Whichever microorganisms we hear about, those are decomposers, because they get their energy through breaking down the organic substances, okay? Whichever organic substances are there, they will break it down, and then only they will get their energy from there, right? They are not dependent upon autotrophs or producers, or maybe indirectly they are dependent upon the producers only, but they are dependent upon the consumers, right? Producers are also called autotrophs. Their mode of nutrition is autotroph mode of nutrition, because they make their own food by their own. And consumers are called heterotrophs. because they are dependent upon the autotrophs for their food. Okay, so I hope this is clear for you. Now consumers are also further classified. Consumers are further classified. How? Let's see. For consumers are also classified into 3 ways. Okay, first they are classified as they are called herbivores. Okay, then comes the next part. Next part is they are carnivores. Okay, third part is they are omnivores. Fourth part and the last part is they are parasites. I hope this is clear. Now this consumers are further classified as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and parasites, right? Let's understand. Herbivores eat only green plants. Means they are completely dependent upon the green plants for their food. Can eat flesh of other animals only. Okay, they can eat the flesh of other animals. Omnivores can eat both plants and flesh, right? Then comes the parasite who lives on the other organisms' body and get the nutrition. Okay, get the nutrition from there. So now consumers can be divided further as herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and parasites. Now let's understand the examples. See, example of herbivores are like deer, okay, maybe like zebra, okay, cow, etc. See, these are herbivores because they are completely dependent upon what? They are completely dependent upon the green plants, green grasses. They eat grasses, right, for their food. And also their structure, like their teeth structure, their intestine, these are very designed separately. So that you must have seen cows like nutrition, cows digestion process is very different than humans, right? They have more chambers in their stomach than human beings. Why? Because they eat grasses or plants, and green plants consist cellulose in it, and cellulose is very heavy to digest, very difficult to be broken down, right? So they have their structure of stomach is like, first they just engulf it and keep it into the stomach, then they chew later on. So these are the processes they do because cellulose is hard to be digested, right? Next comes the carnivores. Let's have the examples of it. Carnivores are those animals like tiger, jackal, fox, okay. So these are the organism who eats only and only other animals' flesh, okay. They are dependent upon the other animals' flesh, and they will not eat the grasses. If you'll give the tiger grass, they will not eat. And surprisingly, cat and dogs are also carnivores. They are carnivorous animals, right? But nowadays we keep them as a domestic animal, as a pet, okay. So basically whatever food we are giving them, whatever habitat we are providing them, habitat. What is habitat? Habitat is the place where an organism lives, Okay, wherever a animal or organism lives, that is called their habitat. Okay, habitat, right? So this habitat is for dog and cats are like they naturally they eat flesh of other animals. That will be the best food for them, but nowadays we are keeping them with us, so we provide them like milk, we provide them like chapatis, but these are not the ideal food for them, so they are carnivores. Then comes the omnivores, and for example humans are the omnivores. Why? Because we can eat both, right? We can eat the grasses, like we eat so many vegetables, and then we can also eat the flesh. So many non-vegetarian person can eat the flesh of other animals, so obviously they are eating both, they are omnivores. And then comes the parasite, for example lice, right? For example lice or any more, so they are completely dependent upon the like worm, okay, lukewarm, roundworm, right? Any worm you must have seen. Many diseases are there, like in your stomach sometimes worm grow up and they eat your food. They eat like lice on the hair, they like suck the blood of yours, and they are living, and they are not dependent, they are different from saprophyte. Okay, saprophytic animals, they are different from that because they are dependent upon the dead and decay things, but they are not dependent, parasites are not dependent upon dead and decay things, they are dependent upon living organisms. Okay, they live in your body and take the nutrition from you, and day by day you will be started getting weaker due to them because they are eating your nutrition. So obviously they are dangerous enough, and like that is why they are called parasites. Okay, parasites, they are dependent upon other living bodies, they live on others living body. I hope this is very clear to you all. So what have we discussed here? We have discussed, I'm just giving you the quick summary of what we have discussed in a very short, okay, in a very short manner. See, first what we have discussed, we have discussed about ecosystem, right? We have discussed about ecosystem, that ecosystem can be classified into two parts. Okay, first was the like artificial and natural. So first we'll write natural. So natural, and then artificial. Okay, so natural and artificial. The natural like can be also further classified as terrestrial and aquatic. These are the two parts. Then here also artificial and artificial also will have these two parts. One is the terrestrial, and then aquatic, right? These are the things. Now components of ecosystem, let's understand components of ecosystem. Okay, this is the ecosystem's flow chart we have discussed with example. Okay, then comes the components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem also can be classified into two parts. Okay, two parts are there. Okay, one is biotic components, and second is abiotic components, right? Biotic components and abiotic components. Biotic components, okay, biotic components and then abiotic components. Okay, now let's understand the biotic components also can be classified further into like this way. See, this has four parts. Okay, first is producers, then is consumers, then comes the decomposers, okay. So not 3, only this much, okay. Let's see, not 4, only 3, okay, not 4, only 3. So 3 parts are there. Now let's understand then further this biotic components also will be consumers will be classified further into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. 4 parts are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and parasites. I hope it is very clear to you, okay. This is some way like that. Now we have to understand abiotic components. What are the abiotic components? Those components which are like made up of non-living things like ponds, like lakes. These are the abiotic components. So in abiotic components, any physical feature, any physical environment or feature will come, and then comes the like organic substances, okay. Organic substances, or any minerals like inorganic substances, okay. So what are the things? Abiotic components will have physical features, organic substances, inorganic substances. Physical features like ponds, lakes, right, rivers, mountains. Means these are the abiotic components, because there is no living being involved, okay. No biotic means where living beings are involved. Here no living beings are involved, but then too it is like a very important part of an ecosystem. So these are also will be counted, okay. These are counting, we are counting this in the category of abiotic components. Then organic substances like carbohydrates, very important for any living being to survive. These are the organic substances, like nutrients in our body, carbohydrates, fats. These are what? These are the organic substances, means natural substances which we get naturally, right. Then comes the inorganic substances like calcium, okay, potassium, like these are the inorganic substances which we get not naturally but artificially, right. Means these are the inorganic substances. Here this is not more natural, this is very natural, and these are physical features we see. So this is all about ecosystem and its component. I hope this is very clear. Now let's understand quickly about some differences, okay. Let's quickly understand the differences between two organisms, okay. Let us suppose we are talking about see. So let's understand the like difference between let's suppose producers and consumers. See, producers and consumers, what are the difference between them? Let's suppose first difference, they can make their food, okay. Second means first, for them first, they are dependent on others for their food, means they can't make their food by their own, right. Second is they have chlorophyll, okay. Second, they lack chlorophyll, right. Third is they release oxygen, and this is they absorb oxygen. So these are the basic differences. 3 differences I have written. They can make their own food. They have chlorophyll. They releases oxygen. They release oxygen. They are dependent on others for their food. They can't. They don't have chlorophyll in them, and they absorb oxygen because oxygen is like important for them for their respiration. So these are the differences. And same way, if you want to get the difference between, let us suppose, if you want to get the difference between, let us suppose, producers and decomposers, right? So first is they do photosynthesis for energy, and this is they break down organic substances, means complex organic substances, into simpler one for energy, right? For energy they do this. Second, they trap solar energy. This is they don't trap solar energy. Okay. Third is example. We can write the example like plants, and here the example is microorganisms, right? Microorganisms. So these are the basic differences. We can also have the differences between biotic and abiotic components, right? What are the differences? Biotic components consist only living organisms. Abiotic components consist only non-living organisms, right? Biotic components has like consumers this way, and this has no consumers, no producers. This is the basic differences between biotic, abiotic components. Also you can give the examples in the like form of differences. So these are the all about components, ecosystem, and whatever their categories are there. Okay students, so we have finished our quick and simplified revision class for ecosystem and its components. I hope you must have enjoyed a lot. If you have liked this video, do hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel Midha Guru. Also for more amazing contents, follow us on Instagram. Let's meet with another interesting and simplified video. So till then, bye bye.